Hello, everybody. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little NWEA map growth training about how to pull some reports that will be useful for us. So there are a multitude of reports that NWEA has available for you, but the three that I'd like you to focus on are the class breakdown, the learning continuum, and then the family reports. So we're going to go through each of those and how to get there. So the first is the class breakdowns, and these can be broken down by different types of ways. The two that we'll be looking at today are the by proficiency projections, and by the goal. So if you go into your MyPassCode Connect, you should be able to find NWEA. You should search NWEA up top. And if you don't see it, you can edit to your library by adding the plus icon and the plus icon, and then adding the staff icon. Okay. So click on the NWEA and it will open up to the NWEA login, where your email address is how you log in and your password. If you forgot it or don't have it, you click forgot password. I keep mine saved so I can just log in automatically. Once you're on the NWEA site, you're going to the left-hand side over onto the maps growth reports. And this is where you're going to be working out of mostly. There are a ton of reports in here that you have access to. And we're only going to go through a couple of them. There's also a filter on the left-hand side. If you want to look for something specifically, search by student level, class level. I don't think you have the school level on there as an option. Or you can kind of search of what you want to do. If you're trying to plan instruction, which ones would you use? If you're talking with the families, and then there's different options. But what I'd like you to first focus on is scroll down to where it says class breakdowns by RIT, goal, or projected proficiency. Once you're on this page, you're going to select our term, which is the fall. You're going to select your instructor's name. I'm going to go with Mr. Carter for now. And then you're going to select your class. Here's where your options occur. The first one I'd like you to look at is by projected proficiency. And then you're going to hit create PDF report. Then I think mine will pop up right here. So on this report, there are going to be three different sections. There are going to be the projected proficiency for the ACT, if they were to take this in the spring. There is the Florida Standards Assessment, and you can tell that tells you the levels of the students for each one of the areas. If you are a 6th or 7th grade science teacher, I do not believe the science section comes up on your reports. And then the last one will be the SAT breakdown. But I really think you get your bang for your buck in the FSA proficiency report. So that's how you get to that. Again, you will go into, let's see if I get out of here. To get to that, you need to go to, NWEA, then growth reports, and then breakdowns. Now, again, we're going to select the instructor. I'm going to select Carter again this time, and the class that you would like to view. And what I'm going to do, instead of projected proficiencies, I'm going to search it by goal. Then I'm going to search my test. I want to do all of the sciences, K-12, and then create my report. Now, very similar to the last report, but now you will see score bands up top. These are the RIT score bands. The RIT is pretty much the way for the test to standardize the scoring. So they said it's ready to inform instruction or teaching is how they use it. So these students, these numbers are kind of the levels at which they are ready to learn. And then these will show you their goal scores. So the score is the little number of parentheses, what they scored in the test, and it's the goal for those areas. So these students would be goal areas in the 220s for Earth and Space Science. And then you would see Mr. Cooley's at a 209, but he would be in for physical science. He'd be projected, or his goal should be up to the 230s. Okay, let's go back to the reports because I have one more report I'd like to show you. The last report is going to be our family reports. You go again, click on Map Growth on the left-hand side. You're going to scroll down to, oh wait, sorry, before we get to the family reports, let's go to Continuum. Learning Continuum. This has to do with the goals and the RIT bands. If you click on the Learning Continuum, you can search by classes here, and this will set you up and show you which students scored in which RTI bands. So I will go here and go to 7th period again, and we'll look at the science test for a read report. And what it'll do is you can edit display options. Please, this is a key part to remember, edit display options. And you're going to select by group, by standards. We're going with our 8th grade standards, and then we close it. And then what we can do as we go through it, it'll show us our standards, it'll show us the level and what school students scored in that level. So as we look, we can see that on these standards for this test, in the 210 range, Carson and Olivia were able to score in this range. At 211 to 220s, we're here, and these are types of skills they should be doing for the standard. If you wanted to go back, you can use the Learning Continuum report in a test view by going through on the bottom, just on the bottom, click on test view and the test you would like. And then here are these ranges. So you can use those ranges from the goal, the students' projections by goal. And now you can click on them and see the skills and I guess things you would want the students to learn on each one of these sections. So if a student scored a 160 to a 170 in the space zone, they're telling you that these phases of the moons might be too much for this kid right now. We might have to go to a lower standard. Again, to change the standard, we go by group, and we change the standards. So we can look again at these students. So if a student was scoring in the 160 range, this standard might be too difficult for them, and we might have to lower it a little bit. But if we were going up to the 220s, you would see that these skills and standards for the students, these are the kind of skills or areas they should be working in for if they scored in the reinforced zone. Again, if there's nothing in there, this standard might be too low for these students, so they should be bumped up to the next level standards. There you can see as you go down, we can collapse it too, and then move into other areas of the science. That is the learning continuum. This is one that shows you where the numbers are and what skills they should be practicing under which standard. So this is good to use in correlation with the class breakdown reports. And then my final report to show you would be the family reports. And as you scroll down, family reports, some have already shared these with their classes, some have not. If you have not yet, I would highly suggest that you take the opportunity to, because there is some great information that you can not only give to the students and the families, but it's a great time to have those data chats and set goals with those students. So what you do is you select the term that you would like to test, our school. I'm going to use you again, Carter, and the 7th period. Then we go next. And this is asking you what reports you would like on the, what scores would you like on the family report? And I put all of them. I put math, reading, and science. The data that'll show you all the proficiencies like we did in our proficiency report, I like them all there. And then here, I like this. It breaks the page into two parts, a front and a back, but all the information is nicely separated. And then you can click your PDF. What that happens is they'll be in your reports queue, and you can click the underlined word, and it'll bring you right there. And these are the reports that you can download, and once they're ready to view, it'll tell you, and you can download it. And this is an example of our family reports. So you would have all of your students listed here, and then the reports on their pages. So for a lot of our students that are just taking this in 8th grade, they're not going to have much growth. But for students who have taken NWEA in 6th or 5th grade, they will be areas of growth that you can see. It also tells you where they are, where the national average is. At the end, it is nice because there are nice discussion questions that the family is encouraged to not only ask their students, but ask the teachers too, to create that communication and hopefully help that child to succeed. So I will go through this one more time. So we did the class breakdowns. Our learning continuum was the one with the standards that you had to click on and click the view options so that you are viewing it by standards and not necessarily the skills that the test uses. And then our family reports. These are great discussion pieces that we can use with our students. What we'd like you to do is take a moment maybe and reflect with your students as you give them their family reports or go over their projection scores or their scores from that. Look at the kids, have the kids take a moment to kind of identify what tests they did and how they did, and then ask the kids where they would want to be or use the goals that were determined by the tests or the projection report, excuse me. And you can see if those would work with the students. Uh-oh, crisis go is popping up. And then the last one is how will the students get there? You wanted to help the students develop a plan on what they will be doing differently or continue to do to either improve their grade or continue to keep that grade. Try to have them create SMART goals. Remember, that's something that's measurable that they can do, and they can, you can ask them if they are able to attain that goal. Are they doing what they need to be doing to get to that point? So with that, that is all that I have. I'd be happy to help anyone find out more reports, or if you have any questions about the reports, please feel free to email me or any one of my fellow NWEA gurus. That would be Gina Thompson, that would be Miss Sharkey, or Miss Meekus, or Mrs. Baumeister, and Miss Griffin too. Miss Griffin was for our science people. So any of those people would be happy to help you if you have any questions, or you can feel free to email me. Thank you and have a great day, everybody.